The galaxy was peaceful. For generations, the systems lived in harmony, governed by the Galactic Council. But all of that changed in an instant. One day, a fleet of unknown ships appeared on the edge of the galaxy. They were silent and massive, dark shadows that consumed the stars. These aliens, who called themselves the Sadrak, attacked without warning. Entire planets were destroyed in moments, their cities reduced to ashes. No one could understand why. The Galactic Council immediately called for an emergency meeting. They had faced threats before, but nothing like this. The Sadrak were unlike any species they had encountered. Their ships were cloaked, and their weapons vaporized targets with terrifying speed. Defense systems that once protected the galaxy failed miserably. The Council tried everything: negotiations, peace talks, even threats. But the Sadrak showed no mercy. As entire star systems were reduced to rubble, the Council realized they were helpless. Panic set in. The best minds of the galaxy were left speechless, unable to find a solution. The Sadrak's next target was clear: Earth. Humanity, a species with no powerful technology and little influence in the galaxy, was about to face the most terrifying force it had ever known. With no other options, the Council sent an urgent transmission to Earth. They called the humans, praying that somehow, against all odds, they would save them from total destruction. On Earth, Commander Sophia Reyes stood in the command center, staring at the strange message flashing on her screen. It came from the Galactic Council, a group most humans only knew from rumors. The message was clear: an unknown alien force was destroying the galaxy, and Earth was the next target. But they weren't asking humans to run. They were asking them to fight. Sophia's face was calm, but inside, her mind raced. Humanity had never been invited to join the Council. They were considered too emotional, too unpredictable. But now, they were the galaxy's last hope. Within hours, Earth's top leaders gathered. Scientists, generals, and strategists formed a united command. Satellites scanned space. AI systems began war simulations. Old rivals worked side by side. For the first time in history, the world stood as one. Sophia stepped forward. "We're not the strongest. We're not the most advanced. But we've survived every threat this world ever gave us. We will survive this too." The humans didn't panic. They prepared. Massive space carriers were powered up. Defense drones were activated. Soldiers trained in zero-gravity combat. Engineers worked day and night. Even Earth's smartest AI, Prometheus, was reprogrammed for war. The Sadrak had no idea what was coming. The Sadrak were moving fast. Their ships had already reached the outer edge of Earth's solar system. Humanity had little time left. Commander Sophia Reyes and her team worked nonstop, trying to find a way to stop the invasion. Earth's weapons were powerful, but not enough. The Sadrak were too advanced, their shields too strong. Every simulation ended the same way: human defeat. Then, during a deep AI scan, Earth's defense system detected something strange: an energy signal that didn't belong to the Sadrak or any known race. It came from an ancient human lab buried deep beneath the Arctic ice. It had been forgotten for decades. Sophia ordered a team to investigate. What they found changed everything. Inside the lab was an unfinished prototype, Project Nova. It wasn't a weapon in the usual sense. It was a living energy created by human scientists long ago to mimic a star's power. It was unstable, dangerous, and never tested. But it had one purpose: to destroy anything that threatened life. Sophia stared at it. This might be our only chance. The team quickly reactivated the lab. Engineers and AI specialists worked around the clock to stabilize Nova. It roared to life like a sun caged in metal. For the first time, humanity had something the Sadrak didn't expect. They had hope. The sky above Earth turned dark as the first wave of Sadrak ships entered orbit. Giant vessels, black as night, blocked out the sun. Their weapons powered up with a low hum that shook the ground. People around the world watched in silence. This was no longer a warning. It was war. Commander Sophia Reyes stood on the command deck of the Olympus, Earth's largest space carrier. Behind her, a fleet of human ships floated in formation. Fighters, drones, carriers, all ready. Prometheus, Earth's smartest AI, controlled the defense systems. Nova was loaded into the heart of the Olympus, glowing like a caged star. "Engage," Sophia said calmly. The sky exploded with light. Human fighters darted between Sadrak beams. Some ships were lost in seconds, but others fought back harder than expected. Earth's weapons, powered by new energy from Nova, pierced the enemy's shields. For the first time, Sadrak's ships began to fall. But the enemy was massive. More ships arrived. The battle spread across the orbit. Explosions lit up the night. One human pilot, Captain Amir, flew straight into a Sadrak cruiser and detonated his ship to protect the Olympus. He was a hero, one of many. The humans refused to give up. They fought with everything they had: old weapons, new AI, raw courage. The Sadrak were stronger, but the humans were smarter. And more importantly, they were angry. This was not just about Earth anymore. It was about survival. And humanity was not going down without a fight. The battlefield was chaos. Half of Earth's fleet had been destroyed. The Sadrak were pushing forward, their ships burning through defenses like paper. Smoke and fire filled the skies. On the ground, cities shook under the pressure of orbital blasts. The Council's fear had become Earth's reality. Humanity was losing. Inside the Olympus, alarms rang. Systems were failing. Commander Sophia Reyes held her ground. Her voice was calm, but her heart raced. We still have Nova. We make it count. The final plan was risky: send the Olympus deep into the center of the Sadrak fleet and detonate Nova. It would wipe out both sides. There was no backup. Sophia sent out a final message to Earth. This is humanity's last stand. If we fall fighting. Prometheus took control of navigation. The Olympus charged forward at full speed. Enemy fire tore through its hull. Crew members stayed at their posts. No one turned back. As the Olympus reached the heart of the Sadrak fleet, Nova began to glow brighter than ever. A storm of light surrounded the ship. The Sadrak tried to retreat, but it was too late. Sophia stood at the command deck, eyes steady. For Earth, she whispered. Then everything went white. The explosion was seen across the solar system. Silence followed. No one knew if the humans survived. But one thing was certain: the Sadrak had been stopped. And the galaxy would never forget the day humanity stood alone and fought like legends. Silence filled the galaxy. The Sadrak fleet was gone. Where once there had been darkness and destruction, now there was only light and silence. The shockwave from Nova's explosion had wiped out everything within range. It was as if the stars themselves had gone quiet to honor the moment. Back on Earth, people waited. They watched the skies. They listened for any signal, any sign of life. For hours, nothing came. Then, a faint signal broke through. It was Prometheus. Damaged, weak, but still alive. Mission complete, it said. Commander Reyes, status unknown. Tears filled the eyes of those listening. They had won, but at a great cost. Slowly, rescue teams searched the debris field in orbit. Pieces of Earth's ships floated in silence. Then, a small escape pod was found drifting. Inside, unconscious but breathing, was Commander Sophia Reyes. She had survived. Somehow, she had made it out just before the final blast. Cheers erupted across the planet. Humanity had done the impossible. They had stood alone against the galaxy's greatest threat and survived. Not because they had the best weapons, not because they were the most advanced, but because they refused to give up. The Galactic Council watched in awe. They had once ignored Earth. Now, they would never forget it. The humans had saved the galaxy. And in doing so, they proved a simple truth: when all hope is lost, you call the humans.